Okay, well I ended up pulling the gap back out before we got as far, or before we got into doing the alignment. So remember last time I had this out, I had issues aligning it. And what I think it is, so the camera will focus, the mounting holes here for the cap screws. Camera doesn't want to focus. Where the bottom of the cap screw sits, there's actually a step here. There's a raised portion there. So the cap screws are sitting on a bit of a dubious area. Now all four of them appear to be like it. There's a little shoulder there, which shouldn't be there. So I might just run a spot face tool down these and flatten them all out, and then we'll get this remounted. Okay, so the underside of the gap where the mounting cap screws go through, they haven't countersunk or deburred the holes, so we're just going to run a countersink tool down and just put a bit of a chamfer on them. So I'm just using a spot facing tool just to line up the hole. Then we'll put the countersink in. Give it a touch up. That's all it needs, a little spot. We can line these up by eye till the countersink enters the hole. That's it, it's lined up. Little one here for the dowel, just give that a little touch. Okay. I had a piece of aluminium sheeting just to protect the underside of the bed. And a piece of aluminum sheeting on that side. So, got no sharp edges and possibilities of the edge of the holes burring down and interfering our fit onto the bed. So now, we use our spot facing tool. We'll come down and clean up these cannibals. Okay, we've got our spot facing tool set up. We've just done a visual alignment on it. So we'll just very gently go down and clean the bottom of the hole out. Now it's looking pretty even, so A little bit more to go. So we've got a full clean up there now. So that gives the cap screw a good flat surface to pull up on. Okay, well that gives our cap screws a proper flat face now to pull up on. Otherwise what happened, the head of the cap screws locks in its own little groove on that counterbore, and it influences the way the gap pulls down. It'll try and pull it to one side and sort of carry on, and then what happens, you're trying to do your last thou out of it, and you're fighting the cap screws all the way, so that should cure that. Well, okay, after a lot of tapping around to and fro, this way, that way, we finally got a reasonable, I'll say reasonable, I'm not going to say good. Now, in the past I've always had a lot of issues getting this gap spot on. A big lathe, if you're under a thou, yeah, it's pretty good, but we should be able to get this spot on a lot better. What the issue is, the rear of the front of the gap here is half a thou up than the rear. So running on the V-way with the clock, so we have our clock measuring perpendicular to the V-way, so I'm getting half a thou rise here. When I swap the clock to the other V-way, I'm getting the same half a thou rise, and on the flat way at the rear, we're also getting half a thou rise right at this very end up here. Now, if you're going to measure off your V-way, you can get rise confused with sideways, in and out, out of whack movement. So that's why you measure. Well, I measure both sides of the way on this lathe. If it was like a real top quality lathe, you should just be able to run it down either away on the rear, top of the V, even the side of the V. But on these I prefer to go directly off the V, because you don't know if the sides have been done in the same operation as the final grind on the V-ways. You don't know how they've done these things. So what I suspect, the machining on the mating surfaces under where the gap mates to the bed, to me it could be a lot better. And so combined, you know, you've got that issue on both faces, and once you've taken a gap out from new after it's been ground, if your faces aren't 100% correct under there, it's not going to go back in the same way, because you can get distortion depending on how much you tighten down those cap screws if it's not dead flat underneath. So what I think I'm going to do, because it's a pretty even half a thou rise right across the back here, and it's pretty good at the front, what I think I'll do is I'll pull the gap out again, I'll get some marking glue, We'll just see if we can't pick up any high spots, and we'll just try and just very gingerly scrape off the high spots and see if we can get the rear of the gap just to sit down that other half of there. I am being a bit fussy with it this time, more than normal, because because I just want to be. So I don't want to induce any oddball wear in the carriage too, because this area here, it's your main working area of your lathe, so you do want it running dead flat as best you can. So we'll pop the gap back out. We'll see if we can find a couple of high spots we can maybe knock off with a scraper. Okay, well, I've just blued up the contact area on the bed where the gap sits. Now, I've used one of my best parallels to try and get a bit of see where it's contacting. I'm a bit dubious of using the gap because the high spots could be in different places. So I'd rather use something that's known flat that I have. So one of my best parallels. And what we've got here, might be able to pick it up. See, we're getting contact around here. Now around this dowel hole here, we're getting a high spot around this dowel hole, and just these marks just here. So if I just gingerly take them off, that will help things. Now if we swing over and have a look at the gap, see we've got a few high spots just along here, and on the other side we're picking up a couple of small high spots just there. So I think if I just knock them off, and then we'll refit it and we'll see if there's any improvement. So okay, I don't have any of the flash type scrapers. Well, this is all I've got, but for what we've got to do, this will be fine. I can knock these high spots with this, and I think we should be right. Might take a few goes, but okay. Okay, this isn't something to be taken lightly once you start altering machining surfaces on your lathe bed. Okay. The old precision flat stones again. These bring out any high spots too. Okay, we'll give the gap a clean off and refit it. Okay, travelling down the way, needle smack on 0 within a tenth or so. Coming up to just here's our transition area. So we've got no movement at all with the needle, and right up to the end of the way. Yep. And she's rock solid. So that's a good result on that one. So we'll move the indicator over and we'll check the V-way. Okay, we're just travelling down the inside way now. The needle's pretty steady. Oop. Right up to the end. So that's the inside of the front V, so it's just pretty spot on that one. So we'll just check the outer of the front V. So that little tick of 1/4 thou, that's just there where the gap falls away. It's only 1/4 thou, but it's better that surface be 1/4 thou lower than this surface here. So that's a good result. So I think now we'll move on to the repairs that we're going to continue with the apron down here. Okay, the next item we've got to look at is the apron. Internally in the apron there's not much goes wrong with these, they're pretty good, it's all pretty basic, so it's just your gears inside for your traversing and that sort of thing. Problems with these is your swinging around with a bit better light. Your worm drive here drives off your feed shaft, and you get a lot of rubbish works its way in, and it just sits in this pocket. This is an enclosed pocket, and it just grinds away at your worm and your worm gear. The other issue with this is the half nuts here. They operate on the slide. Now there's no way to lubricate any of this except pull the apron off and strip it all down. Now these pack up with, you see all the rubbish that gets down into there. It works its way down into the threads of the half nut. Remember, you've got chips coming straight down here, even into the back of the threading dial. So what we do is we strip all that down, give it a clean up and put it all back together. I think last time I had it apart I had to put thicker thrust washers in here, and it's starting to wear again, that worm, so I might have to measure some up and make some for next time. So we'll get this stripped down, cleaned up, put back together and mounted back up on our lathe.